Hej, siemano wam wszystkim ludzie, z tej strony Arturo, witam was na swoim kanale i kontynuujemy The Book on Unwritten Tales. Moi drodzy, powracamy do Nate'a. Ivo spotkała się z matką. Niestety, matka nie była zbyt zadowolona, jak zobaczyła jej wystający brzuszek. Zresztą, cóż się dziwić, matki takie są. W każdym bądź razie, my powracamy do naszego, jak to powiedziałem pod koniec ostatniego odcinka, do Gubura, tak? No tak, bo tak się zachowuje w sumie Nate. W każdym bądź razie, znajdujemy się na statku, możemy rozejrzeć się na pokładzie. Widzę, że hipogryf śpi w dalszym ciągu. Wszędzie, gdzie staniemy, to on zawsze idzie spać.
Ivo's hippogriff doesn't seem very happy. Perhaps she's missing her rider. Or she's just hungry. Or both.
Jak znajdziemy coś do jedzenia, to go nakarmimy. Spójrz na działo.
The last time I used this thing, I blew a bounty hunter out of the sky. Nonetheless, Critter and I prefer to avoid a fight if we can and rely on our brains and good looks.
No dobra. Spójrz na ster.
As soon as I've picked up Critter, I'm out of here. Perhaps we'll fly to... whatever. We're free. We can fly to wherever we want.
Najgorsze w tym wszystkim jest to, że Nate w ogóle się nie przyznaje do tego, że... spójrz na elfią knieję. Że Nate w ogóle się nie przyznaje do tego, że to jest jego dziecko.
Mary was damaged recently, and I want to repair her. When I say recently, I mean about 2 years ago. But in my defense, I had to save the world in the meantime. I'll start the repairs tomorrow. But what can you do if there's a better use for the plank?
Okej, deska trafiła do mojego ekwipunku. A co jeżeli faktycznie Nate nie współżył z dziewczyną, a ona zaszła w ciążę w jakiś nie wiadomo jaki sposób?
Some gnome engineers wanted to fine-tune Mary in appreciation of our victory against Mortroga. But Mary doesn't like gadgets, and I'm happy with her the way she is.
Dobra, zejdźmy na dół. Możemy porozmawiać z Mary, tak? Spójrz na biurko. Spójrz na toaletkę.
I've seen alchemic lab benches and building sites with less stuff than this dressing table.
Ale czy coś z toaletki będę mógł wziąć? Chyba nie.
A pile of maps, diaries, travelogues and stuff. I was looking for things that promise eternal life. The Holy Grail, the Philosopher's Stone, the Fountain of Youth, that kind of thing. Harder to find than you'd think. That's why I had the idea with the djinn. At least I knew where to look for him.
Sporo przygód razem przeżyliśmy. Skoro tyle elementów, tyle przedmiotów Nate chciał znaleźć.
Mary and me like a bit of banter. She says I haven't got a clue about flying airships, and that we only stay in the air because she ignores my commands. Ha! Hey, Mary.
Captain Nate?
Jaki obrałaś kurs, Mary?
What's our course, helmsman? Woman? Ship?
We are at anchor in the harbour and don't have a course.
Oh, play along. You know I like all that nautical stuff.
Course set 2456 degrees north-south, Captain.
Very good. Keep course.
Yes, sir, Captain.
All right. Let me know if there's a problem.
And then?
Czy to jest to, o czym mówił, te przekamarzanie się? Przecież oni faktycznie stoją w miejscu.
Most of the communication between a captain and his ship's nonverbal. The Red Pirate kept asking me again and again about his costumes when I was drinking with him. I didn't have the heart to tell him we used some of them as oil rags.
Przeszukaj szafę.
A sailor's uniform with a hat and a duck beak made of card. Nope, they're not going to help me in the current situation.
Serio? Mamy tutaj tylko i wyłącznie strój jakiegoś pirata z kaczym dziobem?
Provisions are low. If we sail around much longer, we'll have to get supplies from somewhere, or Critter will have to eat less.
Weź coś do jedzenia.
Tinned peaches. Oh, empty.
A już myślałem, że będziemy mogli nakarmić hipogryfa. Mamy puste puszki. Nie przeszukuj ponownie szafy.
The Mary consumes huge amounts of coal, for the oven, but primarily for the steam engine. The Miners' Guild promised to give me free coal for the Mary for the rest of my life at the end of the war. When I reminded them, a rather grim-faced dwarf said that the whole thing was meant to be symbolic. Many promises were made in the rush of victory and later not kept.
No dobra, wydaje mi się, że na dolnym pokładzie sobie wszystko tak naprawdę przeszukaliśmy, więc wydaje mi się, że najlepszym rozwiązaniem będzie teraz opuścić po prostu pokład statku i rozejrzeć się po okolicy tutaj, tak?
Critter, what have you done now? Ivo's mother? Oh. Come on, let's get you out of there first. All right. Darn elven magic. Yes, I'll get help. Wait here.
Zwierzak został zamknięty przez... no właśnie, przez co? Wygląda jak jakaś roślina by go trzymała.
Damn elven magic. Hey, Critter, can't you somehow slip out of there? You can usually squeeze through most gaps. The thorns, I see.
Czyli tym razem zwierzak sam uwolnić się nie może. No dobra. Mam nadzieję, że w jakiś sposób będziemy w stanie mu pomóc. Spójrz na kwiaty.
I've never been very interested in plants, but there are things in this garden I've never seen anywhere else. Those two plants there, for example, it looks as though they're strangling one another.
Nie, te kwiaty się po prostu przytulają do siebie.
No trace of arbor, but he left this ball of string lying here. Perhaps he was going to tie up bushes with it or something. Shorty won't mind, I think.
Udało mi się zabrać kłębek sznurka.
Critter attacked this beehive one night. He claims to this day that it was the sweetest triumph of his life. But it was 3 days before the swelling from the bee stings went down.
Czy ja w ogóle coś będę mógł z tym kłębkiem zrobić? Na przykład przywiązać do tego?
I remember that from my childhood. You connect the cans with a string and can talk to someone across several meters, just like you could without the cans.
O, zrobiliśmy sobie głuchy telefon. Tak to się chyba nazywało, nie? Głuchy telefon. Teoretycznie, moi drodzy, mam nadzieję, że niedługo zakończymy tą gierkę. Mamy chyba teraz 17 albo 18 odcinek. Z tego co pamiętam, to pierwszą część ogrywałem w 21 odcinkach? Chyba tak. No i jest to zdecydowanie długa gierka. Dlatego mam nadzieję, że już niedługo będziemy się zbliżali do końca, bo mam taką ochotę, żeby ograć sobie Broken Sworda. No zdecydowanie ta gierka jest troszeczkę za długa.
Bob is still sitting where I left him months ago. Of course, he's not really called Bob, but his elven name is too complicated and long to remember. And he likes Bob.
Może być Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Nate, my boy, what are you doing here?
Przywiozłem Iwo aż z Tugotora.
I rescued Ivo from Tugator, the flying pirate island, and brought her back here, more or less.
Oh, so you're getting on well again.
It's too late for that. Trust me.
It is never too late for that. Trust me.
Twoja żona zaczarowała Iwo i uwięziła zwierzaka.
Your wife has hexed Ivo and imprisoned Critter. I'll free both of them and
I would counsel you to patience, my impetuous friend. What has happened?
The Queen found Ivo in the garden. She's pregnant. Did you know that?
I hope that you are speaking of Ivo and not my wife. Of course I knew.
She's put Ivo into a kind of deep sleep.
Theodora knows wise decisions take time. It isn't a simple sleep. It's a kind of time out. For Ivo, time is standing still until her mother brings her back.
And when will that be?
As soon as she knows how she's going to deal with the situation. That could take months, or even years.
Years? She's got no right to do that. We have to bring Ivo back.
Just like the polecat butters the bread of the barn owl.
Jak obudzić Ivo?
How can we wake Ivo up?
Without the help of her mother, impossible.
Then we'll have to force her. She can't keep Ivo imprisoned against her will.
You won't have any luck. Fiora will defend her daughter. She thinks she's doing the right thing. But if you can make her see that she was not acting in Ivo's best interests, then I'm sure she would let her go.
I should talk to her?
You'd be dead before you'd stuttered out your first sentence.
Hey!
No właśnie, no bo matka Ivo niekoniecznie podchodzi sympatycznie do Nate'a, nie? Teoretycznie go nie lubi, dlatego chciała, żeby Ivo poślubiła jakiegoś tam księcia. Mamy kłopoty, arcymag Alistar jest żabą.
Well, Archmage Alistair's been turned into a frog. By a certain Van Buren, some little brat who's running through Seastone and transforming everything.
A little girl transformed the Archmage?
Yes! No idea how she managed it. Ivo said something about Wilbur's wand. And he's in the Dark Woods looking for a book that explains how it can be destroyed. In the meantime, Ivo wanted to organize a few things needed to bring the Archmage back.
What sort of things?
Some book from Lorem Ipsum.
The Book of the Dead?
Yep, that was the one. Then we need a compass that belongs to the Red Pirate, and something called the Spark of Life. That's why she came back here.
I see. It's crucial we turn Alistair back quickly. He might have answers.
Jeśli ktoś miałby mieć jakieś odpowiedzi, to z pewnością Alistar, ale na jakie pytania?
Answers? To which questions?
Something is stirring. A great evil. I have felt it for a while now.
The little brat with the wand?
No. Something older, greater, and a great danger for you, for Ivo, for everyone.
That doesn't sound good. But I wouldn't even know where to start. Ivo didn't tell me very much. Or perhaps I didn't listen.
I have the spark of life here. I will give it to my daughter as soon as she wakes. I can't help you with the compass, though. But I saw the lost city of Lorem Ipsum with my own eyes, long ago.
Gdzie jest zaginione miasto Lorem Ipsum?
If I were to look for Lorem Ipsum, where would I find the ruins of the city?
Under the sands of the Umzu Desert.
Oh, really? Could you be a bit more precise? The desert's pretty big.
I can't remember the exact location. I set out from the Bremen oasis, went into the desert, and just followed my nose. After a few days, I saw the golden roofs of the town glinting in the sun as it set behind them.
So Lorem Ipsum is west of Bremen. But how far into the desert? How many days did you walk, and how quickly?
It was 3,500 years ago. What did you do last Thursday?
West of Bremen. That's a start.
Okej, ale ja zdecydowanie nie mam kilku dni, żeby odnaleźć to miasto, tak? No będziemy musieli wykombinować coś innego. Przynajmniej mamy jakiś trop. Więc Ivo jest w ciąży.
Ivo seems to have coped well with me leaving her. Seems to have been in a rush to find herself an elven prince.
No, she didn't take it well. She was hurt and disappointed. And no, she didn't throw herself around the neck of any elf prince.
I don't even want to know. I'd always loved her, but it seems to have been quite one-sided.
Jak uwolnić zwierzaka?
Your wife trapped Critter in the garden. Some thorny tendrils grew out of the ground, imprisoning him.
Oh, an old trick that all priests have up their sleeve.
So novices couldn't sneak out of rituals early, eh?
But the tendrils are very ticklish, especially under the arms.
They... All right, then. Take care, Bob. I'll see what I can do to help Ivo and Alistair, or if I can.
I see a man with a mission of great importance that he would like to complete.
Like? All that work? All that danger? The stress? You've got the same attitudes towards stress as I have.
I can see through you, Nate. You made your decision long ago. You just haven't realized it. To do good. Be part of something bigger. Help others. We all need goals in our lives. And the greater the goal, the greater the reward.
I don't know what you're talking about, old man.
Dzięki za rozmowę, Bob. Dobra, czyli wiem, jak uwolnić zwierzaka. Muszę po prostu połaskotać plącze.
When your girlfriend's mother is an elf priestess and you want to make a good impression, you shouldn't call this a swimming pool in front. But I meant it in a good way. I even invited her and Ivo's father to join us. The queen must have ordered the sentries to let the Mary pass. So long as she doesn't give any orders to the contrary, we should be able to enter and leave the woodland realm at any time.
Czyli możemy podróżować, tak? Między krainą elfów a innymi miejscówkami. No dobra. No nie zamierzamy tkwić w jednym miejscu, tak? I tak z Ivo nic nie możemy zrobić, dopóki nie przekonamy jej matki, żeby ją uwolniła.
Tickle, tickle, tickle. No problem. Now you go and wait on the Mary, okay?
No i proszę bardzo, zwierzak uwolniony. A my wejdźmy do biblioteki. A, mogę się teraz przełączać między postaciami. Są regały z książkami.
Lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum. I don't want to assume that they don't have a book on it here, but even if they do, it won't mention where it is. Explorers and treasure hunters have been looking for the city for centuries.
Może jest tu jakaś książka, którą będę mógł kliknąć? Albo tutaj. Spójrz na potwora.
Critter claims he doesn't know Ollie, but the family resemblance can't be denied. According to Ivo, these are swords belonging to some of those who have tried to conquer the woodland realm. Nowadays, everyone knows it's better not to pick a fight with elves.
Spójrz na cylinder.
The king and queen keep gifts given to them by delegations from far-off lands in this room. Some of them are rather bizarre. The top hat might have been a present from a kobold delegation, although it's a bit too big for that.
Ten cylinder wygląda ciekawie, ale dlaczego on jest zielony? Wygląda troszeczkę jak... jak się nazywają ci kolesie z czterolistnymi koniczynami, co na końcu tęczy są? Oni chyba takie cylindry na głowie mają, nie?
I nearly got arrested once because of a flower like that. I didn't know why they're forbidden almost everywhere. Until I heard some...
No dobra, wejdźmy i spróbujmy w ogóle w jakiś sposób nawiązać kontakt z Ivo. Chociaż wiem, że pewnie mi się to nie uda. Dla niej zatrzymał się czas.
I couldn't allow him to propose to you. What sort of life would you have? You'd have lost him so soon, maybe just 50 years after marrying him. Or were you planning to go into the world with him and get old just like him? That would be terrible, and I told him as much. If one truly loves someone, then it's sometimes better to let them go. You know that I can be very convincing. The human spirit is weak. And perhaps there was a tiny bit of magic involved too. If only I'd known that it was already too late.
Okej.
That darn witch! It all sounded so right. I was already across the sea when it became clear to me that I might have made the biggest mistake of my life. No wonder Ivo hates me. Her mother must never have told her what happened, or she blamed me for everything.
Czyli to matka Ivo sprawiła, że my uciekliśmy. O kurde, ale to jest wredna wiedźma. Dlaczego ona mnie tak nienawidzi?
What I'd really like to do is go up there, give the old... But Ivo's mother is a powerful priestess. She's probably got a dozen ways she could incapacitate me without me even noticing. I have to be careful. Why did she suddenly put Ivo to sleep? Did Ivo keep the fact that she's pregnant secret even from her parents? Could that even be the reason that she left Elfborough?
No dokładnie tak było. Spójrz na lustro. Mi się wydaje, że po prostu ona za wszelką cenę chciała, żebyśmy my poślubili elfiego księcia. No nie była w stanie pogodzić się z tym, że Nate jest zwykłym człowiekiem.
Ivo's mirror. When I was here, her fat bird sat in front of it most of the time. The oracle on Tugador can look through all reflective surfaces. This is going to be a real feast for him. He loves drama. When we found out how the oracle knew so much about the world, we had a laugh sitting on mirrors with our trousers down. We had to stop doing it when he started making intentionally wrong prophecies.
Okej. Jak gdybyśmy tak przeszli do wyroczni, w sensie pojechali do niej i z nią porozmawiali, ona w sumie wszystko widzi przez te lustra, nie? To jest jej oko na świat. No bo wydaje mi się, że tak czy inaczej na chwilę obecną nic tutaj już zrobić nie możemy.
Hey, Critter.
Przejmij dowodzenie, zwierzak.
You take over for a bit. I've got some thinking to do.
A, czyli ja nie chcę grać zwierzakiem. Spójrz na biurko.
Ivo tidied up here when we flew back from the Wildlands. At least that's what she called it. In reality, all she did was bring confusing order to my orderly disorder.
Spójrz na mapy.
Hey, Mary.
Captain Nate?
Matka Iwo wykluczyła ją z gry.
Ivo's mother. She's simply switched her off. How dare she?
Switched her off?
Magic elven stuff. If I could, I'd go up there and...
You are not a fighter, Captain Nate. You are... No, wait a moment, you're not really a thinker either. What exactly are you?
A doer, Mary. A doer.
Wygląda na to, że musimy odszukać Lorem Ipsum.
It looks as if we'll be off on our next adventure soon, Mary. Lorem Ipsum, the lost desert city.
I'll travel to the end of the world with you, but I'm driving.
All right. Let me know if there's a problem.
And then?
Navigation isn't a complicated science. I choose a place on the map I'd like to fly to, then I tell the Mary the name of the place and she flies me there. I don't know why other people find it so difficult.
No i świetnie. Wyznacz kurs.
All right then.
Okej, mroczna wieża. Spójrz na pustynię Umzu. No na pewno na tą pustynię będziemy chcieli polecieć. Kamień morski. Leć na Tugator. Dobra, w pierwszej kolejności polecimy na
Cast off.
Tugator.
Nope, me neither. I think we all know who's responsible for that.
Spójrz na hipogryfa. Ale zobaczcie, on leci ze mną.
Hey, Critter.
Nic ważnego, poradzę sobie.
Forget it.
Dobra, chyba dotarliśmy na miejsce.
You stay here. Prepare the cannons and be ready to rescue me if necessary.
Give me the damned elf immediately!
There's no damned elf here. Get lost.
Lady Van Buren, I assume.
Yes? Who are you? What do you want?
Ale jak to miejsce się zmieniło od naszego ostatniego pobytu. Nazywam się Wayne Schliegen.
My name is Wayne Schlegel from the Seastone Life and Accident Insurance Company.
What do you want here?
There was an accident here. A pirate lost an eye. Now he has to wear a wooden leg. There was clearly a problem in processing the claim.
There's no one here anymore. Apart from that damned red pirate and the elf he's hiding.
My musimy zdobyć kompas czerwonego pirata. Elf jaki elf?
Elf? What elf?
A thieving elf! She robbed me while I had to deal with the rest of her kind.
You've been to Elfborough? I heard it's supposed to be very pretty at this time of year.
We couldn't get in. Protective charms that not even my little darling could do anything about.
What a shame.
And then I go back home and find I've been robbed by that damned elf and her mob. They will suffer the consequences.
Jest pani pewna, że elf tu jest?
And you're sure the elf's here?
Of course. She flew here from Seastone on a magic hippogriff. We followed her trail to here, and there are no indications that the hippogriff has flown on.
Ona cały czas myśli o Ivo. Dlaczego po prostu nie wejdzie pani do środka i nie złapie pani elfa?
You seem to have considerable magical power at your command, madam. Why don't you just magic the elf out of there?
If it were really so simple, do you really think I'd be wasting my precious time here? That red scoundrel threatened us! Us! He has a magic weapon in there! Ancient, divine magic which even my Chantal can't do anything against.
Może mógłbym pomóc. Mogę porozmawiać z czerwonym piratem.
Perhaps I could go in there and talk to the red pirate. I'm an insurance salesman. No one would dare do anything to an insurance salesman.
That's true. And every hour that I waste here prevents me from taking care of the transformation of the country. Go in. Convince that old scoundrel.
Podziwiam pani pracę Lady Van Buren.
What you've done with this island is very impressive, Lady Van Buren. Just like in Seastone, you and your daughter are a real asset to this land.
Thank you very much. Politicians so seldom receive the thanks that's due to them. One works tirelessly for years on end for oneself and one's friends, and do the electorate thank you for it? No.
Sad. Very sad. Then I may take my leave, Lady Van Buren?
Yes, yes.
No dobra, będziemy za chwilę próbowali wejść do pałacu i porozmawiania z czerwonym piratem, ale widzę, że są tutaj porozrzucane różne elementy. Mamy jakąś jaskrawą apaszkę albo coś, mamy młotek i może jeszcze jakieś przedmioty będę mógł zabrać. Spójrz na małą dziewczynkę.
When Ivo told me about Seastone, I could hardly believe it. Even if the power of the brat's sorcerer grandpa is concentrated in the wand, where did he get all the power from? I'd better not speak to her. She could turn me into a small, hairy, pink critter in the blink of an eye. And who would want something like that hanging around?
No właśnie, ta dziewczynka jest zbyt niebezpieczna. Spójrz na nakryty stół.
It's a powerful kid's magic that can force grown men to sit at tiny tables and pretend they like tea. Fortunately, I'm immune.
Oj, uważaj, Nate, na słowa.
That's wrong. Impressive, but wrong. An unhealthy, artificial-looking, oversweet, fatty parody of a foodstuff. Wonderful.
Słodycze. Spróbuj jednego z cukierków. Słodycze to jest zło.
Hey, what are you doing there?
I'm, admiring the fine delicacies.
Those aren't for you, they're for my guests. If you want to take part, I'm gonna have to make you pretty first.
No, that's all right. I'll keep my hands off your guests' food.
Ja wiem, że są ludzie, którzy uwielbiają słodycze i za słodycze zrobiliby naprawdę wiele, ale dla mnie naprawdę one by mogły nie istnieć.
colorful cloths. They don't seem to fulfill any purpose, apart from being colorful.
Okej. Udało mi się wziąć to do ekwipunku.
Not much escaped the brat's magic. This hammer is one of the lucky few.
Mam też młotek. Wejdź do obserwatorium.
That's the third biggest flower I've ever seen. The flower is too pretty and smells too good to just be left alone.
No i super. Udało mi się wziąć aż 3 przedmioty z tego miejsca.
That's some transformation. There must be powerful
Ogólnie ta miejscówka, mimo że byliśmy tutaj całkiem niedawno, to wygląda zupełnie jak inna lokacja. Przez te wszystkie różowości, cukierki, kwiatki, lizaki itd., itd.
Just one more piece! Just one more little piece and you've done it!
Hey, Eyes!
Nate, nice to see you again.
Come on. Knowing you, you never lost sight of me.
Your life wasn't so boring over the past few years, I must admit. Good season.
Z tego co widzę, nie zostałeś zmieniony.
I half expected to find you transformed into a huge ball of fluff with big goggle eyes.
The council leader and the charming Chantal are concentrating their attention on the palace. Fortunately.
I guess you also wander off the island as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. I like tragedies, but I've never wanted to be in one.
Matka Ivo pogrążyła ją w głębokim śnie.
You know why I'm here?
Of course, Princess Ivo. Oh, look at her. Isn't it sad? An elf in the prime of her life, sleeping away her best years.
I'm going to prevent that from happening.
And I hope you're successful. This is more boring than watching the cricket.
Jak mam uwolnić Ivo?
Ivo's father said I can't rescue Ivo against her mother's will.
That would be a bad idea. Although I'd like to see what would happen if you tried.
So how can I convince Ivo's mother that she's not acting in her daughter's best interests?
Isn't she? The future's in constant flux. Even I can't see it clearly in my mirrors. A powerful priestess like her might be able to see more, but clearly she doesn't want to.
She thinks Ivo's thrown her life away, and she thinks it's impossible that she could be happy with a child, or with me.
A difficult task that you do. Come on, number 3! Run! Come on! Yes! Sundancer won!
Wiesz, kto jest ojcem dziecka Ivo?
Ivo's pregnancy. Do you know who... you know...
Ivo said you weren't the father, but if not you, who?
I'm not the oracle with 100 eyes. How should I know who it is?
Eyes that are blind if there's no reflective surface nearby. Ivo seemed very surprised by the news herself. She spoke of a curse that might have struck her.
A curse. Yeah, sure.
A teraz sobie tak myślę, a może co jeżeli faktycznie Ivo nie jest w ciąży, a ten brzuszek jest spowodowany tylko i wyłącznie jakąś magią jej matki i może ma to na celu tego, żeby Nate myślał, że to Ivo go zdradziła i nie chciał się po prostu z nią wiązać. Lustro, w którym widać Ivo, mogę je dostać?
Can I have that mirror?
Of course not!
I could always keep an eye on Ivo with it, and maybe it'll come in useful some other way.
It's already useful. It means I can see what happens next in the story. Anyway, I've never given any of my mirrors away. They are rare collector's items.
You collect mirrors? Rewind, delete, stupid question.
Lustro, w którym widać Ivo, mogę je dostać? No dobra, muszę już iść.
I gotta go.
Yes, go!
I tak tego lustra by mi nie dała. Wejdź do obserwatorium. No dobra, chodźmy do pirata.
Stop right there! Whoa, easy does it. Put that thing away.
Nate? Have you seen what they've done to my island?
Widzę, że zmieniłeś wystrój wyspy.
Let me guess. You've redecorated, so the pirates that fled come back.
Oh, it was that little brat and her mother. Turned up here saying I should hand over the elf.
And you explained politely that the elf is no longer here and that unfortunately you can, as such, be of no help.
I kicked them out. Then they started transforming my island. They would have got me too if I didn't have the head.
Jak udało ci się uratować rzeźby przed Van Buren?
I see you were at least able to rescue the statues.
Statues? They're my friends. Tell him. Friends! I brought them in here long before them witches came. A man shouldn't be alone. Isn't that right, Martha?
Right. Yeah. I've even heard of people who went mad because they had no one to talk to.
Can't happen to me. I've got friends, and things are on the up. Friends?
Ranna Van Buren chce dorwać Ivo.
Van Buren's convinced that Ivo's still here. I'm supposed to persuade you to hand her over.
I'd do that at a drop of a hat. That elf is in league with dark forces. She was trying to drive me crazy. Do you hear what she said about the invisible force that determines what we do?
Van Buren isn't going to believe that Ivo's not here.
You've got to get that old bag off my island, Nate. You have to!
Potrzebuję duchowego kompasu, pilnie.
I'm here because I need the spirit compass.
What? Not because you missed my company?
And because I've missed your company. But mainly the compass. A friend of mine won't find their way out of the realm of the dead without it.
I don't care about that. It's my compass. Right, Pierre? Right. You see?
A jeśli uratuję cię przed radną, dostanę wtedy kompas?
How about I get Van Buren off the island, and in return you lend me the compass? You'll get it back in one piece.
You get rid of them both, mother and daughter.
That's the deal.
William, what do you say?
It's stew today!
Ah, good old Bill. All you ever think of is food. All right, Nate. If you get those two monstrosities off my island, I'll lend you the compass for a day.
Deal.
Deal!
Ale jak się ich pozbyć?
I've gotta go.
See you later.
See you later!
Jak mam się pozbyć tych dwóch upartych babiszonów? No, matkę może jeszcze w jakiś sposób bym przekonał, ale córkę? Wątpię w to.
Perhaps Old Red's friends can persuade him to give me the compass. I'd better not. Old Red would notice if I moved. Those aren't really friends of the Red Pirate. If they were, they'd have drawn his attention to the fact that he's completely lost his mind. Few books are consulted for words of wisdom as often as this one, but I think they rarely help.
Dobra, nie sądzę... spójrz na duchowy kompas, a gdybyśmy go tak zakradli...
The Spirit Compass. It can show the Archmage the way out of the spirit world. I only have to get rid of the Van Burens, then I get the...
Czyli po prostu muszę sobie z nimi porozmawiać na zewnątrz.
Lady Van Buren.
Yes.
Elfa nie ma w pałacu.
I've spoken to the Red Pirate. He says the elf fled before you even arrived.
Of course he says that. But he's hiding her.
I haven't seen her anywhere.
Then you haven't looked properly enough. I want that elf. Bring her to me.
Then I may take my leave, Lady Van Buren?
Yes.
W sumie, gdyby udało nam się zdobyć lustro, w którym widzimy Ivo, moglibyśmy pokazać odbicie Van Buren i ona wtedy by wiedziała, że Ivo nie ma w środku.
Hello there.
What do you want? Go away!
Jesteś córką pani Van Buren, prawda?
I'm Nate. You're the Council Leader Van Buren's daughter, right?
Uh-huh. And you are not invited to my party.
Podoba ci się, co zrobiła z miastem?
Quite, pretty what you've done with the city.
I got it all out of my book, and Mommy says I've got a real artificial talent.
Artistic. Although, artificial works too.
Chyba tu już skończyłaś, może upiększysz teraz jakieś inne miejsce?
Wouldn't it be fun to move on and transform something else? Or to travel back to Seastone and have an afternoon nap?
Mommy's looking for the elf who stole things from us.
Yes, but aren't you the one in charge here? Just tell her you want to go somewhere else.
But I've got everything ready for my tea party, and the guests will arrive any minute.
But...
Widzę, że szykuje się herbatka.
a tea party, huh?
Exactly like in my book. I'm celebrating my birthday. I've got a table, tea, and lovely things to eat, and any minute now the guests will arrive. The Mad Hatter and the White Rabbit. And then I'll get presents.
Szalony kapelusznik i biały szalik. My widzieliśmy zielony kapelusz, może gdybyśmy w jakiś sposób ten kapelusz zabrali? Okej. Czy mogę przyjść na twoją herbatkę?
I'd love to be a guest at your tea party.
Ew, you can't come. You aren't a Mad Hatter, and you're not a White Rabbit either. And you're a boy, and ugly.
Now listen here.
I can make you pretty.
Thank you, but that's not necessary.
Gdybyśmy tak zwierzaka przebrali za królika... Jesteś pewna, że goście się pojawią?
And this Hatter and Rabbit? Will you make them appear by magic?
No, I can only change things. They will come here. I've done everything exactly the same as in my book, so they've gotta come. I always get very angry if I don't get exactly what I want.
Okay.
And they all have to bring me presents, and when the Hatter and the White Rabbit are there, then Mommy has to come over as well. Right, Mommy?
What, sweetie?
When the other guests have arrived, then you'll come over too and give me an unbirthday present, right?
Of course, my sweet. As soon as a Mad Hatter and a White Rabbit appear, then I'll give you the most super-duper present ever.
Ha! Did you hear that? The biggest, bestest present ever!
Nieurodzinowy prezent, tak? Opowiedz mi o tym szalonym kapeluszniku.
Who is this Mad Hatter you're expecting?
He's a Hatter, and he's mad.
Uh-huh. And what is it that makes him a Hatter? And what makes him so mad?
He wears a top hat and a colorful neckerchief, and I'm not sure why he's mad, but he is.
I see.
Opowiedz mi o białym króliku.
A white rabbit at a tea party? Curious.
You think?
Yeah, and perhaps you should give him a watch if he doesn't turn up soon.
No, my guests have to give me a present.
I've gotta go.
Yes? Otherwise you'll scare my guests away.
A paszkę mamy. Gdyby udało nam się zabrać cylinder, moglibyśmy przebrać się za kapelusznika, ale potrzebowalibyśmy jakieś jeszcze królicze uszy.
Hey, Critter. Forget it.
Weź coś z toaletki, o!
I should be able to find something useful for dressing up here. White powder, for example.
Mamy biały puder.
Anything else? A perfume at a...
Czy udało mi się zabrać dwa elementy? Mam pusty rozpylacz i biały proszek. Skoro mam biały proszek, to może uda się pofarbować zwierzaka.
Wasn't there a... Ah, there.
No i mamy jeszcze kostium królika.
Wasn't there a book on lorem ipsum here? That's it.
Okej. Otwórz stary notatnik.
A notebook with some notes on the lost city of... What's this? The author seems to assign great meaning to these hieroglyphs.
Mamy jakieś symbole. 5 różnych symboli.
This is the famous travelogue that reports on the city Lorem Ipsum. Scholars claim it speaks of life in the city and of huge wealth, the main reason that this text is so well known all around the world.
Dobra, plan jest taki. Żeby cofnąć się jeszcze raz do krainy elfów,
All right.
spójrz na pustynię Umzu. Mroczna wieża. Kamień morski. Góry białej grani. Leć do elfiej kniei.
Cast off!
I zobaczymy, czy uda mi się zabrać cylinder. Weź cylinder.
A green top hat. It should be useful. Green top hat.
Okej.
I wonder whether... That's what I was looking for.
O,
The book describes what the symbols mean. The first one is...
aha, zobaczcie, faktycznie. Ten symbol to jest klejnot.
Gemstones. Jewels. That's a promising start. The second symbol...
Drugi symbol. Pustynia.
Desert. Yeah, makes sense. The city is somewhere in the Umzu Desert. Next.
Następny symbol, który widzimy, przedstawia stopę.
Feet? What have feet got to do with it? Can you only reach the city by foot? The next symbol...
3 palce.
3. 3 feet. That's unusual. Perhaps the last symbol will make it clear. Mountains. Jewels, desert, mountains. The jewel of the desert at the foot of the 3 mountains. That's it. Lorem Ipsum. The city with roofs of gold is the jewel of the desert and it lies at the foot of 3 mountains. And these 3 mountains must be west of Bremen. That should be easy to find.
Okej, świetnie. Czyli już wiemy, gdzie tak naprawdę będziemy musieli udać się na pustyni. Dobra, plan jest taki. Czy ja będę mógł pofarbować zwierzaka?
That would be quite funny, but this is not the right time. It's embarrassing enough that Critter has to run around Tugator in the costume, but here? Better not.
Aha. Czyli ja bym musiał najpierw się tam przenieść i dopiero tam będę mógł przebrać zwierzaka.
All right. Cast off. That would be quite funny.
No wyglądamy, tak? Jak kapelusznik.
Hey, Critter. Forget.
A. Ja zwierzakiem nie mogę opuścić pokładu.
Hello. I'm the Hatter. The Mad Hatter.
Just like in my book! Are you really mad?
Sure, completely insane. I think you're a revolting child, and you have terrible taste.
You must be really mad if you're making fun of me! Have you got a present for me too?
Chyba wiesz, że prezenty nie są najważniejsze.
I hereby present you with the insight that life isn't about receiving presents.
Say what? That isn't a present, stupid! I want a real present!
Yes, but you see...
Whatever! My mommy's gonna give me a real big present!
Yes, but...
I want a
A present! Of course!
A jak macha tą różdżką mi przed nosem, no to... chyba faktycznie jakiś prezent by musiał jej dać. Pusty rozpylacz? Niekoniecznie. Okej.
That's the desert where Lorem Ipsum must be. Wait a minute. I must have a more detailed map of the area somewhere here.
Może po prostu udamy się tutaj, w pierwszej kolejności.
That's the old oasis of Bremen. It was already there at the time of Lorem Ipsum. Today it's a pretty... A good captain always...
Spójrz na góry.
3 mountains west of Bremen. I bet Critter's next meal that the jewel of the desert is at the foot of these mountains. I'll mark the place on the big map.
I mamy pineskę.
There hasn't been an airship visiting Lorem Ipsum for centuries, perhaps millennia, if ever. Time to pay a call to the old city. That must be it, Lorem Ipsum. And it looks like someone has already dug it up for us.
I dotarliśmy na Lorem Ipsum. Ale moi drodzy, co tutaj się będzie działo, co tutaj odkryjemy, dowiemy się w kolejnym odcinku. Mam nadzieję, że ten wam się podobał. Dzięki wielkie za uwagę, trzymajcie się i do usłyszenia. Hej!